Guys, welcome back. My name is David Gerard, and in this video I wanted to give you an introduction on how to get started to become a comic book artist, whether it be professional or for personal use. It doesn't matter. You're just having fun and you're going to learn how to create some good high quality images, and I'm going to walk you through what you're going to need. So before we get started, I would greatly appreciate if you can like and subscribe in this channel, and I'm going to provide you with lots of great content. Alright, so here we are. So we got all our stuff here, and I'm going to walk you through every single thing, and I'm going to show you exactly what you're going to need. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of like explain one by one the purpose of what it is you're going to use and show you the difference in quality, and you're going to see that you're going to really appreciate my advice, because I'm telling you there's so much out there, and I know as an artist it's hard to know the right thing to pick up, and I find it's more of an experimental stage because everybody kind of like tries different things and likes certain things more than something else. So it's not a matter of what is the best, it's more of a matter of like what is good for you. And every artist has a different style and a different approach as to what they want to do. But to make comic books, this is a good breakdown of some of the solid things that you're going to need. So let's get going with this video. So here we are. We got the sketchbook right here that I have right here. This is just something cheap. It's a good brand from Canson, but these ones I pick up at the cheap, like I go to the dollar stores locally, and those are great places to get something cheap. So what you want to do is get something small. So I usually get like 8 by 10. So something like this is great for doing your thumbnails. So usually books like this, I'll just do some quick sketches as far as like, you know, elaborating my story. And I just kind of do some rough drawing. And this, I don't get these for so much for the quality of the paper. It's more just to do thumbnails, because thumbnails, you don't really care too much about the quality of the paper because you're just jotting your ideas down. So you just want to get something small and something that's just going to have enough pages, and you're going to basically like do your thumbnailing as far as like your breakdown from all your pages in your book. So this is a good way to start off and do your breakdown with all your panels. Well, you're just going to jot down some ideas. You're basically just doing some quick sketches. So something like this is a good thing to get started, just to do that. So we got that out of the way. And then you're staring at this big, beautiful book. So these ones are amazing. These are Strathmore Bristols. So these are usually about 11 by 17. And this is a good size to do your standard size comic book pages. So when you open these, you're going to see like they got nice soft cardstock paper, and as you can see here, this is great for illustration work, good for pencils, inks, and I'm telling you right now, like these are high quality, and you're gonna see the paper is really thick, and it's really good to capture like good details in your images. So I would strongly recommend if you picked up these books. These are like the 300 series. But if you go, you're going to see they come in different size. So for you, I would recommend this. 11 by 17 is the standard size for making comic book pages, and this is what you want. But if you want to expand, you can also get the larger one. I got these in 14 by 17. But these are great for like if you're doing images that are like require a lot of detail. Usually I go to a little bit bigger just to capture all the details, and then I proceed to scanning them. But there's different sizes, but you're gonna see like, and when you go through your selection in the store, there's gonna be all kinds of different size of books, but this is the one I would recommend the most because it's gonna make it easier for editing your pages together. So get these Bristol, and you're going to see the quality of these paper are amazing, and there's nothing better than these ones. So we got this out of the way, and as far as pencils and markers, I have all All right, so now we're going to get into the drawing and I'm going to explain to you how to start and how to finish. So when you begin the process of making your pages, some people prefer these blue pencils. They're color erase pencils. These ones are great because these you can actually erase and you don't see the blue lines on the page. You can actually erase them. That's why they're called color erase. And these are great because they're nice and light and they're not too dark. And the whole purpose of these is just to kind of give you a rough idea, especially for professionals. They use these to kind of like get their pages roughed out, kind of give them a sense of how they're going to start drawing, and you're basically keeping your drawing very, very rough. So this is intended just for rough drawing. And then what I do is I move on to using a pencil. So when it comes to pencils, there's these mechanical pencils you can use. You can use a Staedtler pencil. These ones are very popular. They range in different. You got the 2H, and you get the B pencils. Most people use HBs, which are very, very common. But for personal use, I like to use a 2H because these are very light pencils where you could still see your drawing. It's just these ones are great because they don't smudge, because I find when you start drawing, the graphite from the paper, when you move your hand along the paper, you'll find like your drawings start to smudge. So from experience, I noticed when I use the HBs, they tend to smudge because they're darker and the graphite tends to like get your hands really dirty, and then you get those smudge spots on your pages. So to best avoid that, I would strongly recommend using the 2H. These ones are very good for that. So anybody who prefers strictly going to pencils, pick up these pencils because I find they are very much better for that. So start with your blue pencils, get a rough idea of how you're going to get the page down, and then move on to your pencils. And this is what I use to clean up my drawing. So I go over the anatomy. I start kind of like elaborating the details and stuff like that. And the pencil work is where I kind of finalize my pencil and get into the details and break down on like how the character looks like. So just to get that across, this is how I go about it. And then we move on to the markers where you're going to do all the inking. So everybody has preferences when it comes to markers, but I'm going to tell you right now, when you go shopping, you're going to see there's a wide range of varieties. So I'm telling you right now, just go by what you feel is best for you. There's some I highly recommend, but you're going to see a difference in price range because if you go for the higher end markers, Micron is a brand that I strongly recommend, but you're going to see it's a little bit more pricey, but you're going to get good quality out of those. But for personal use, I like to pick up these Tomboys. These ones are pretty popular too, and I use them a lot just because I find like they work very similar to Microns as far as the tip goes. And this is a 0.1, so this is like probably as small as you can get, and you can see here it's a very, very fine tip. So 0.1, these ones are good for fine detailing, so you don't want to use this for a general outline when you're inking. So if you're going to start inking, usually I start with like outlining the character and doing like the environments and stuff like that. So focus on getting a broad marker. So something like a 0.5 is great for outlining your drawing. But if you're going to get into detailing, get a 0.1, and these are great for doing like hair, or if you're going to get into like facial features like drawing eyes, I would recommend a 0.1 because you can really get into fine lines and they work the best. So pick up some Tomboys. I'm telling you, you're going to like the flow and the feel, and the ink is like a nice rich black, so it just leaves like a nice quality that just like holds up really nicely. And then you got your general markers here, the Sharpies, which come in different size. This is a broad tip, so these are great for filling in shadows, big black spaces in your drawing. So like when you're drawing your pages, you're gonna see like those big spots. What I do for like outside of my boxes to do the blacks, I usually get the wide tip Sharpies, and these are great for just like filling in around the boxes. And then when you start getting into like the character details, that's when you use your fine tip markers, and they work the best. And then going back to pencils, you can use a mechanical pencil too. These are great because the line work stays very consistent, and whereas when you use your Staedtler marker pencils, you're gonna have to sharpen these a lot to keep a nice fine tip, because when it comes to penciling, you always want to keep your tip as sharpened as possible. Don't let it go too broad, because you're going to see a different your line work's going to start to change. So if you want to keep your work consistent, keep it sharpened all the time, and that's the best way to get started. And then you got when you go back to inking, there's other markers you can find that are brush pens, and when you can see, like, you'll see the tip has like a nice pointy finish to it. These are great because you can get a nice like flow of different your line work is gonna look nice, because you're gonna see a nice variety in your like the quality of your lines, and these are great for that. It creates a nice flow. They flow on paper smooth, and they're very great like that. So this just gives you a breakdown of like what you're gonna need and some of the better markers and pencils to get started. And I strongly recommend these, so that way you'll know what to get. And like I mentioned earlier, get the microns. I don't have that here, but they're very similar to the Tomboys in terms of quality. So this is just one of the markers I like to use, but this gives you like a nice range of what you're gonna need to get started. So I just thought I'd do a quick video and kind of give you guys an idea on how these work and what they're best used for. And I appreciate you guys watching this and getting some feedback on this. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate this, and I'll catch you next time. Well, there you have it, guys. I just got to explain all the stuff you're going to get started to start making your comic books. So I hope you all the best in your adventures, and I hope you start creating your own comic books and it all works out well for you. So good luck, and wish you guys all the best. All right, take care, guys. Bye.